This is Margaret Ann Windsor. The name I have to use is Peggy Ann Dempsey Childers. I married Childers. This is the sixth tape I believe I've made today, this morning. This is Monday, the 7th, I believe, January of 16. Uh, I'm going to pick up, if I start giving background, I can't get it all up on here. I'm going to go back. I did want to get these couple of things on here. I'm going to get back to where Lina Dempsey was mother of the twins, Peggy and Carl, born out of wedlock, that she murdered. I found out in '83 after a campaign I'd been in, a candidate, flown out to Larry Flint's Hustler magazine because Larry McDonald, Congressman Doctor at Piedmont Hospital, Atlanta, the plane he was on, the KAL, had been shot down when it veered into Russian airspace. He was on it, all aboard, 200 plus died in the ocean. Now then, you get into this as an ongoing. He had to be one of them that tried to help kill me, April Fool Day of '80. So now I'm going back to April Fool Day of '80 and what happened there. I put up. Now then, I'm begging to go home to my apartment in Atlanta. Instead, I'm stuffed into Lina Dempsey, where when I was kidnapped in '41 and brought to the United States, to Moulton, Alabama, they put me. She'd killed her twins, born out of wedlock, Peggy and Carl. They stole my identity, gave me the name of Peggy, which I still have to use. I'm not allowed to use my real name. But anyway, what I want to say was I went to the emergency room April Fool Day, and all hell broke loose to see if you could dilute whatever they had put in me. Well, in other words, they tried to kill me. Somehow, they didn't manage to do it. My ex-husband suddenly comes back from California, and I realized then when they stuffed me in the car with Lina Dempsey and Philip and Nancy helped do it, that I wasn't going, and my ex-husband, I wasn't going home. Okay, she took me. We got back to Huntsville. It was dark, about 10 o'clock. And I had no money, no clothes. It's still cold at night there, very cold. She told me if I tried to run that she'd have the cops lock me up. I didn't know about being kidnapped then. I guess it would only work against me. Hey, you start telling somebody you're kidnapped, you're the Queen of England, your father's Edward VIII, they still want to handcuff you. Even though Edward Snowden and all this about this government and what it's doing, the illegal acts. And by the way, Elizabeth and part of my own family and the Rockefellers, Rothschilds. So you see the power that's involved in it all. That did the kidnapping of the Kennedys, the Klan. He was ambassador. But real quick, I wanted to get this in. She dropped me off there at Crestwood. And you gotta, someday, I don't know how you'd tell it all, but you need to hear it, what happened there. First of all, Dr. Bill Goodson, there's a question about all of him, not a question of where he started from before he came to Huntsville. All right, he didn't do any of the talk screen I asked for. After I had been there, let's see, that was on Saturday night, next day's Easter, the 6th of '80. On that Wednesday, I believe, was the day that a talk screen was done. And, you know, when it came back, what happened? He began to know something was wrong then. It came back from Georgia Crime Lab, who had helped type my book. And, yes, I can give all that, and I have in the past. Anything I've said is the truth. I don't need to lie, not that I would. The truth is too much to handle. It really is. But it came back from Atlanta rather than going to Montgomery or to Alabama Crime Lab or to have the test done, toxicology screen done. Should be in the state you're in. So it came back from there, and he showed that I had I didn't get sick. They wouldn't let me see it. So anyway, I stayed there because I had nowhere to go. I couldn't call. I didn't have money to call my children. I was afraid they were going to be killed. So anyway, I finally make it to leave that hellhole I was in. I had to go back to Lionel Dempsey's trailer. This horrific woman where they had put me and had killed her twins. Okay, when I went in, and you have to know if anybody's ever had antifreeze and lived through it, all right? When I went into that trailer, this is unusual. She had like nursery rhyme, like you go to a nursery, they're the large plaques, and on the wall around this way, she's got the plaques, and they spell out Humpty Dumpty, or it's pictures. Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men could never put Humpty together again. You know exactly what I'm talking about. It was so horrible. That woman, if there's a place in hell. Now then, I made it through that. And believe me, every moment of your life trying to save your children and being afraid. My ex-husband, this is the weird part, my ex-husband walked into Crestwood Hospital in Huntsville, where Goodson, where Dempsey had left me. The talk screen was finally done that I'd asked for on April Fool Day in Atlanta, and look what happened to me. He went into Crestwood and walked out. I don't think I stayed 20 minutes. He had it in his hand. I couldn't get it. He gave it to me, so you make whatever you want. I gave it to ABC in LaSalle later, in LaSalle Street in Washington. I gave it to all the media, everyone. Everybody had a copy. What they've done with it, I don't know. It had antifreeze in me, and I don't know at the bottom what even that was at the bottom. I thought, my God. Okay, now then, they put this antifreeze. The Humpty Dumpty. And by the way, when I met Larry Flynn, I'm going to skip so this will go up. In October twice of '83, and I'd written about mind control murders, was in back '75 till they put the antifreeze in me. And I had a letter from the FBI even then. When I met Mr. Flint, was flown out there the 1st of October. It was in the campaign to replace the Dr. Congressman Larry McDonald I wrote about. He had to been in on trying to kill me. The plane went down, and I was going in the campaign to replace and flown out to Mr. Flint's. I'd never met him. I knew it was mind control murder, that the man had been programmed because it was done in patterns and can be proven. Anyway, the first thing Mr. Flint said to me, first of all, the man that picked me up was a black limo driver. And he gave me a card, and he said, if you go, I don't know why Mr. Flint called me tonight, or they did. He said, he was my best friend when he got shot. And he says, I've never been able to see him again. He said he used my limo service all the time. He said, please give this to him. Okay, he took me to Bel Air, St. Cloud, where Mr. Flint's home was then. The first thing Mr. Flint said to me that night was, you don't have to tell me anything about yourself. I know everything there is to know. He said, I know they were going to send you back a vegetable. Well, there was more conversation, and I liked the man. I don't like pornography, but I know this man went through hell for telling the truth. And this scumbag lawyer, well, I'm not going to say so much lawyers, but doctors, judges. Oh, you got judges in it. I hope and people, just general people that were the scumbags and all this. So don't tell me Larry Flint. I don't like pornography. What if you'd like if all this truth is told, how it affects some of you, okay? You talk about crooked people, sick, despicable. Anyway, what he meant by that, I thought, send me back a vegetable. He knows about the antifreeze. I didn't, it was after then that I found out about my kidnapping. So what he meant was they were going to send me back to Great Britain, a vegetable, some coin I'd make, right? So part of this has been putting me back together again. Now, I wanted to get this part in because if it's ever told, this is the part of the Jews. They helped kidnap me. When I lived in Edinburgh, the one time I got a place there, here, HUD, low income.